everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and with me today co-hosting is David. Hello, David.
Hi, Pam. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I almost wanted to say good afternoon because the sun's still outside. I can't get used to that.
I can't either.
Although it's a good thing. So I bet it's sunny in California where our guest is from, and we will find that out right now. Today we welcome TV and film actress Teresa Castillo, best known as the lovable Sabrina Santiago on General Hospital. Hello, Sabrina.
Hi.
No, we will call you Teresa. It's so hard. I mean, you know, when you watch somebody every single day and you know them by a character, it's so hard to say the real names, you know?
Yeah. No, I guess so. It's funny because a lot of the people on the set actually call me by my character name. It's funny because when I first started on the show, Jason would have to redo some of his takes because he kept referring to me as Teresa during the take instead of Sabrina. And I think there was like one time where we were going to move on, and I was like, wait, you said my name. And then sure enough, we had to do it over.
They have the exact opposite problem that we do then.
Yeah. So funny.
How many people call you Sabrina on the streets now?
On the streets, you know, it's interesting because I didn't really get recognized for a really long time. Now that I finally look like myself, I'm starting to get recognized. But, yeah, there will be, like, a random person who, like, screams it from across the street, and they're, like, come running up to me crying, which is really sweet. But, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to meet the fans and see how excited they get. And it's funny because I know that we shoot this, but I feel like it just comes to my TV. And I forget that it goes other people's living rooms as well. So it's always fun.
How long did it take you to get used to it? I mean, when somebody would yell Sabrina on the street, do you automatically turn around now?
Well, yeah. I mean, I answer to it because I'm used to seeing her now. Yeah, it's funny because they'll get this like they get this like look in their eye of like recognizing you, and you know, it's sometimes they'll say something, sometimes they won't. It's really fun and sweet to play the game, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't even imagine walking down the street and somebody, you know, calling my name all the time. So that has to be something that you really get used to or you don't get used to. I can't see maybe in between.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened a whole lot. I think in LA you're used to seeing familiar faces on the street. So
that's true.
We don't really point each other out or you know, sometimes if you really like someone's voice, then you'll go up to them and let them know. But for the most part, you don't really acknowledge to them that you know.
Right.
So it hasn't happened a whole lot. But yeah, I don't know if I'll get used to it.
Well, as long as it's always, you know, a good meeting of somebody and not somebody being mean, then that's a good thing. That's something you can live with.
Coming at me with a baseball bat.
Right.
Can you imagine?
I don't see that happening to you, though.
I know. Kelly, maybe.
No, maybe.
You might need a bodyguard.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about Teresa. When did you know you wanted to be an actress?
When did I know I wanted to be an actress? Well, I guess I made the official decision a few years ago. I've always loved performing. Whether it was, I grew up dancing, and then I moved to singing, and now I'm acting. So it all kind of intertwines, you know. But I'm definitely just focusing on acting now. I've always just loved entertaining and pretending to be someone else, and you can do that through dance or singing as well.
That's true.
Yeah, it's always kind of been in me.
And it's a good thing you did do the dancing and the singing because that works well with acting.
Yeah, and they all tend to go hand in hand sometimes. So
right.
It's really nice to get to do the other, when I get to mix them up.
Well, what was your first role?
My first role on TV or on screen or on stage or serious? I
guess a serious role, yeah, like TV or film.
On TV, I did an episode of Cold Case where it was called Bombers, and I played. I think I was supposed to be 14 years old, and it was the year was supposed to be 1982, and I played kind of like this tough chick who was like attacking. Yeah.
Well, how did you get the role?
I auditioned for Michael Testa, and I went in there and I had my audition, and then he wanted me to stay for a callback. So then I went out and I called my my acting coach, and I was on the phone with him coaching and trying to get everything right, and so I went back in and I read with the director and the writer, and then I got a call later that afternoon from my agent saying that I got it, and I'm like, wait, are you sure? Because I didn't feel like I was like this character at all. She's like the complete opposite of me, but they were sure. So I guess it was believable.
A lot of dancing around the house at that time, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always dancing around the house, no matter what you get. It's always like it's always fun to book a role.
Right.
So I mean,
that's what you're in it for, so
Yeah,
I mean,
you go on so many auditions, and you drive around town, and sometimes you get several in a day, and it's you're constantly hustling. And so when you get that call that you book something, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I can imagine. What was it like to see yourself on TV for the first time?
What was that like? It's a little weird.
Did you watch yourself?
I did, and the thing is I'm a perfectionist, so I'm never fully pleased with anything that I do. I always feel like there can be more. There's more that can be done, or I could have done. So I always kind of have a hard time, and so I'm like picking things apart on what I can. It's hard for me to be objective when I'm watching myself. And I think that stands for a lot of actors. I think I know that a lot of actors don't even watch because then they'll get in their heads. So I should probably start doing that.
Yeah, I've heard that from other actors as well that I've interviewed, and either they're really picky or they just go with the flow. There's no in between on that either.
Right.
Or they just don't watch themselves. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you've been on a lot of TV series like iCarly, How I Met Your Mother, Bones, The Secret Life of a Teenager, and more. And now you're on a soap. What's different for you with being on a TV series versus a soap?
Oh, my gosh. Well, you get a lot more rehearsal on other shows, and the material is a lot less.
Right.
For the day. So it's really different in that sense. It's definitely it's boot camp for actors. I feel like after this I'll be able to do anything because you really just have to be on your toes and you have to be able to just soak everything in really fast and be able to let it out and be believable. And it's crazy. You don't get the takes that you would get on other shows. Like for Bones, I feel like I did this one scene like 30 times. And
oh, wow.
He had me like changing it every single time. So, if you do it enough times, you're getting comfortable enough with it and it just becomes second nature and you can really play and try different things. Here, it's like one shot and that's it. Whether you like it or not, you're moving on. Sometimes you'll get a second shot or maybe a third. But, yeah, it's really, really fast-paced, really intense.
It almost makes sense for an actor or an actress to start on a soap opera and then go into film or TV, series, because that way you would learn everything.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like, it's just the best training ground. I feel like when I start doing other shows or start doing other stuff, I'm going to be impatient because I'm so used to fast pace now.
I know, I've heard that too. Especially movies, when you go from a soap to a movie and they take forever to, film something. And I can't even imagine sitting there. You've got to be, going insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, how did you get the role of Sabrina?
Well, Mark Teschner found me. He was watching an episode of Franklin and Bash that I was in, and this was, I believe it was some point, not last year, but the year before, and so he brought me in for the role of Dolores Padilla. I think it was Padilla, the one that Rebecca
Montoya?
Yes, thank you. That Rebecca Montoya got. So I went in for that, and I ended up testing. I actually tested with Jason, and at the end of the day, I wasn't right for it at all, but I knew that Mark was a big fan, and so I just had a feeling that we were going to work together at some point. And then about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I went in for the role of Aria. I think I said it was Maya before. Aria. And then so I went in, and then I never heard anything, and then I had a call back and didn't hear anything for a while, and then suddenly months later there was a producer's call, and then 1 month after that it was the test. And so it was a pretty long process. I had gone in for other things, booked other things, and then it was a lot of stuff happened in between my auditions, so it wasn't really, it was kind of in the back of my mind. And so then it was a Thursday where I tested, and there were 9 girls testing, and Frank Valentini had us all get dolled up and looking beautiful. And the scene was, it was a nerdy, well, it was Aria at the time, the nerdy character, and then she walks out of the elevator, sees Patrick, turns around, starts talking to herself, and then he walks up to her, and suddenly she's in this daydream where she's beautiful, and they're both talking, and she's trying to convince him that they should be together, and then she snaps out of it, and she's back to the nerdy girl again. So that was the scene. So we all shot the beautiful part first, run downstairs. He had us take all of our makeup off, put these scrubs on, put a pair of glasses on, and I picked the biggest set of glasses that they had on the tray. They were much bigger than the ones that Sabrina wears now. And then I had them draw a unibrow on me, and then a side half on the top of my head. I'm standing in the elevator, and I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, God, I just look so ridiculous. And I thought, I'm just going to go. This is so much fun. And I'm standing because you're supposed to step out of the elevator and trip. Standing in the elevator and thinking, okay, this girl, I feel like this girl should have a lisp. The way that I'm looking right now, I should probably have a lateral lisp. And I'm thinking, do I do it? And I thought one or two things could happen. They could either love it, or they'll kick me out for not taking it seriously. And